that I could stream this horizontally because a vertical orientation is not the best thing to stream tanks with because tanks are very wide. But I thought I would do a really quick live session here. It's been kind of a while since I've been live and I've actually never done it from mobile, so if the connection gives out or something in there, let me know. I'll do my very best, and if I have to try this again at some other time with maybe some better equipment, I will. But a bit of a spontaneous fun session today. I'm at the US Army National Armor and Cavalry Collection. This is at Fort Benning in Georgia, and this is one of their 4 open house weekends. And so you get to see, this place is not normally open to the public. It's a training facility and a research facility for the Army, but they do open up for everybody to come and see for 4 open houses a year, plus the last Friday of every month. So this is probably one of the best tank collections that you can see, especially here in the US. You have 100,000 square feet in this building behind me, as well as some stuff outside that we'll see, because it's not too hot yet and not a whole lot of people are here, so I figure I'd take a chill day to kind of show it off. And I wanted to do this in horizontal. Unfortunately, it is doing this for mobile because I am on mobile, so I'll do my very best, and hopefully we can see some cool stuff. I'm just gonna kind of like speed run this and show you some of my favorite pieces in the collection and some things that I think you guys might be interested in, and chat a little bit. It's a slow day today. Sunday is kind of one of the more chill days, and it's definitely worth. There's a few guests in there, and we'll just be respectful and show you guys some tanks. If you've never been here, it's definitely worth putting together a trip, and I'll throw a link in the description of this video to their social media and to the National Armor and Cavalry Heritage Foundation website that shows all the visitation stuff and how you can plan a trip and figure out how to show up. Because you have to come on base, and so you just have to get your pass at the visitor center. It's super simple. If you're foreign, bring your passport, or you can do it ahead of time. It's super easy, and I'll link that down in the description below at the end of the video. So anyway, without further ado, let me turn this camera around and I will start walking around and showing some stuff. The facility is right behind me, and so this is actually one of the parking lot areas, and there are a few pieces out here waiting to be put elsewhere. And again, it's a little warm, so I'm gonna try to make this fast. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Some pieces you guys might recognize, like T-55 Enigma and a T-29E3 with the rangefinder down in the corner. Some of these were brought in on videos that I was able to record, and the T-29 is definitely one of them. But I hope everybody's doing okay. It is a fairly nice Sunday morning here, actually. A clear day, a little humid. Georgia's always sometimes got surprises for you weather-wise, but they have the Slick 29 in there as well, and some of the other sort of T-series tanks from that era. And another one here, oscillating turret, but quite large. This is a I got like 3 hours of sleep, and I want to say T-43E1, but that's not what that is. The actual T-43, which was the prototype for the last American heavy tank, the M103, is actually inside. But you get some rare pieces out here as well. And the sun is kind of screwing this up, so I'll just go inside. These were out here, the M3 and the Stewart out here were placed out here for the opening ceremony of the Gainey Cup, which is the best scout competition that the Army is holding. This is kind of competition season. And every other year, the Gainey Cup is on here at Fort Benning. And the next year, in between Gainey Cups, they have the Sullivan Cup, which is the best tanker competition. And so all the teams came here yesterday and had some opening remarks from the chaplain and from the commandant of the armor school. And that was held right here. Yes, some antiques. Something very special at this collection. Over 100 years of U.S. armor history is represented here. Not just some of the cavalry pieces, but straight up 100 years of armored vehicles is represented here. And you're about to see that in a second. The facility is 100,000 square feet. And this is a place where all the new soldiers, all the new tankers come here, and they start to learn some of the history of not just cavalry here in the US, but part of like the development history and things like that of all the vehicles doctrinal history and development, and the future vehicle departments for like the Abrams and Bradley for the Army do come here and study as well. This place houses not only a shitload of tanks, but also the archives and some small arms exhibits. So here we go. Immediately when you walk in, you are greeted by one of the oldest and one of the newest pair of vehicles in the collection. And you can see it's very large. If the connection gets a little bit spotty, I'm sorry about that. I'll do my very best, but it's a chill day in here, and we will walk you through some of the things. I have some videos on some of these, of course, if you want to hear some more, but I thought I would just do like a quick tour. Make this about a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. It's really hard to go that fast because this place is so big, and there's so much to see. The Mark V Star here is basically also a memorial. Crew members died in this vehicle, some of the first American tankers, and it has been preserved. Got a Mark 8.
Oh my God, a 35. A French.
And so you can see here, it's not just tanks. We also have armored cars, armored half-tracks, staff cars, towed guns. And some of the stuff that people love to see here are some of the foreign vehicles from World War II, captured by the Army or gifted by allies. A lot of these have interesting stories about how we got them, as well as just how they were developed. The 3-ton. 1918, 3-ton here. Pretty cool. Really small. And so, like I said, when the new soldiers and tankers come through here, they get tours. And you can see how gorgeous some of the condition of these things are. And it's a really nice visit. It's really a treat. Some of the stuff here is just really rare and in gorgeous condition. And it's really worth it, even if you're coming from overseas or someplace. There's a German guest here today as well. It's worth coming out here. Panzer IIF from the video. This was in really good condition on the inside as well. I wonder if I can get you a view without clambering on it. If you guys remember the Panzer II challenge, the armor lieutenants and stuff do that here too as well. See if I can get a good view in through one of these ports. Not quite. Need a little bit more light and a bit of an opening. It's beautiful. I'll get out your way. That's right. Mark II, Ausführung F. Got a Hago here. These are really cool, so you can get up close. Some of, like I said, the Mark V Star over there is essentially a memorial, and there's an original Stug here which is roped off because it has original paint still. But you can actually get really close to some of these and inspect some of their details. Here you can see these like vision ports are just slits. If you can imagine now, this one is really, you can't quite see through these, but it's really, really small on the inside. Beautifully kept. Do foreign nationals need any special permits? So no, but if you can actually apply online for your pass and just provide your passport information. If you want to do that in advance, instead of showing up the day of at the visitor center, then you could do that. But you could also just bring your passport and do that here on site as well. So you have some just gorgeous pieces here that you can't see. Beryllium 3. The Italian tanks in the collection. Beautifully cosmetically restored by the team here. There's an Italian tank expert visiting here as a volunteer, and I'm going to do a little film later with him. He brought his uniform. And there's it's really just a treasure trove. Towed guns and half-tracks. Early production Tiger 1, as you guys probably are a bit familiar with. We've done a few videos on this one. This was captured in North Africa, and this has been cut open to help aid as a teaching piece. Yes, they do have a Jagdpanther. It's currently under restoration, cosmetic restoration in the workshop across the way, and they're going to open up the bay at about noon to go and see it. So this was freshly painted up, about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. Time really flies, but I get a lot of comments like, why was this cut? Blah, 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 blah. So this was actually, this was captured during the war and brought back and studied. And a lot of the vehicles that were captured during the war ended up being scrapped or they put up on the range. But cutting this open to use it as a teaching tool, which has been used as ever since, probably actually saved this vehicle from being put on the range or from being scrapped. So it's actually really cool, and there's not a whole lot of places you can see tigers, that's true, but how many places are going to let you inside to see? So here you can see, while they're still working on having the inside kind of fleshed out, all crew compartments and stuff like that, you can see the commander's area up there, you can see some of the layout of the things, and it's, I don't know, it just adds to the understanding. It's really cool to see. As much as you know, I can understand wanting to see like an intact vehicle and stuff like that. This is actually a really cool privilege to be able to almost let you inside. The King Tiger is cut that way as well, and one of the Panzers, and so it's, like I said, it's quite valuable actually for myself as a learner. You can see some repaired pieces there. So yeah, same thing here. Isn't that cool? Can you film half track? Which one? Which one? There's so many. It doesn't run. The engine is here, but it's not in the vehicle right now. But the original engine is included. Is half track? Probably like 3 years ago, I cleaned the windows on this one as a volunteer. Oh, the 251. Yeah, we can trade that. But you get this half track in the meantime. It's in great condition. M3s, yes. SDK Z10 here. I'll respect the ropes in this case. They have an early chieftain, yes. Can't remember if it's a Mark III, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, not as gorgeous, huh? Panzer III in great condition. Early T-34. Martyr 2 in awesome condition. You're not going to see these everywhere either. If I remember correctly, they have one up at Arsenalen in Sweden. Yes, the Jagdtiger is here as well. It's in one of the bays. One of the work bays across the way. Yes, the SEP V4 is here as well. I'll show you that near the end of the video. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really, really, really cool. Early M4s. M3 Grant Lee. Cool Kubelwagen. Cool condition. Here is, if you guys saw this video a few years ago, I recorded it with Hilary Doyle, and we came down and looked at this one. And you can see the original paint here and some of the original shades. It's in beautiful condition. I don't know if the camera looks like it's doing it justice too. You can see the different shades of the camouflage at the time as well. Yes, the Abrams SEP V4 project was canceled, and they have a different kind of variant that they're working on, but they were able to preserve one of the prototypes, and that's one of the ones that's here. There are more than a few Panthers here as well. Pretty cool. We have an A and a G, and even a Panther 2. So the whole thing isn't a Firefly, but it has a Firefly turret in response to your question. Firefly gun. Not all tracked vehicles. We have some armored cars here as well, like this M8. Not all of the guns are fully functional, but a lot of them are intact. An M10. M5A1. There's a lot of hatches open and stuff so you can see. The Staghounds are super cool in my opinion. I got to drive one at the Canadian Tank Museum. The Royal Canadian Dragoons have a history unit, and they have one of these in really great running condition, and they brought it up to a Kino Tank Weekend, and they let me drive it, and they let me fire it. It was so cool. That video is on its way as well. These are not particularly common, are they? So yeah, just to, like, I've already been live for 15 minutes yapping, and I'm like maybe not even a sixth through the way through the collection. And I'm like actually speedrunning this. Like I'm rushing. M4 with the 105. Hell yeah. Which one would I daily drive? Oh, I'll show you in a little bit. So my favorite armored vehicles aren't actually tanks. I like the armored recovery vehicles the most, and they have a really cool one here. Yeah, all of these have some really great... What's the entry fee? Oh, it's free, baby. It's free. Sturmhaubitze. These are quite uncommon as well. Oh yeah. As a War Thunder player, come and see these. You gotta come see it in real life, you know? You've played them in the game. Isn't it gorgeous? They don't really do live demonstrations. This is an active military base, and this is like a kind of a research and training facility actually. And so you can see the floors. There are some vehicles in running condition, but nothing is moved around like for entertainment or display. They do have Tigers. They have a Tiger 1, and they have a Tiger 2 I'm about to show you as well. TTB as well, yeah. It's not a pain to get in at all. So the only thing to be aware of is they're not always open. They do have modern tanks. We are nowhere near those. I still got to get through all of World War II, the World War II prototypes, the Cold War stuff, the Cold War prototypes, and then we'll get to the modern stuff. So here's another cutaway. Again, really intact, really cool. Way you can see just the layout of everything. It adds, I think, a depth of understanding compared to seeing like blueprints or dioramas in books, or just seeing the tank from the outside. Getting that cutaway view really helps kind of show like a lot more of what it would have been like to be inside one of these things. Can I show the underside? I'm not going to get close to that if you don't mind. Nobody's allowed up on it, and so I'll go around the outside, but I am not going to be showing anybody any details up close. I'm sorry. So, this is one of my favorite things because there's only a few places in the world to see this, and those places aren't going to let you get inside. If you have felonies, I actually don't know. I think that if you go to like Google, like Fort Benning, like visitor, anything, right? Like they'll show you what you need to be able to get in. It does involve a background check, and I don't know what might prevent you from access, but it's very simple. Going up, you give them your passport or your driver's license, and they run it for you, and they'll give you a pass for a day or for the weekend or what have you. It's fairly simple, but you do need a pass and you do need an ID to come on base and see this place, even though it is free. They have 4 open house weekends in a year, as well as they're open every last Friday of each month to October. I do like the King Tiger. I think it's just it's impressively sized. You know what I mean? You can't help. Like I'm like 5'10", probably 6 foot with the boots on. You know, and even just the track like comes up to my chest all the way. It's an impressive machine, really, by any rights. Do you need a star? I've never seen anything like that. I don't know. Bring a valid driver's license. Bring a valid passport. Schwimmwagen. These are cool. I'm about to go to Millitrax in a couple weeks, and they always have a ton of these driving around, and they're super cool to hear. Little engines, you know. Hell yeah. Big old Pack 43. Yes, there are drip pans. Yep. These still have the fluids in them and what have you, so it's in order to protect the flooring. They do. They have one Italian one that was a little bit earlier in the stream. And so I'm here with Steel Aces, and this is the latest tactical tank shooter on the market. And so we are corporate sponsors of the National Armor and Cavalry Heritage Foundation, and we're guests of them, and we're showcasing the demonstration build of the latest version of the game. Open beta is coming soon. And so it's kind of cool because some of the vehicles in the collection you can come play in the game. So Panthers, early Tiger, just like here in the collection. Late Stug, just like here in the collection. We're pretty excited about this. I think it looks really nice. And anyways, I'll throw the link for the game down in the description below as well. But we're pretty proud of it. It's not World of Tanks. This is actually built out of Germany. This is an indie game, independent studio. I'm proud to be on the project as well. And we have Ted here. He's the COO. He's awesome. If you guys have met him from the online tank combat gaming community, he's been around for a long time and headed up a lot of the charity work that I did when I was doing streaming more often. They didn't bring the ammo display over yet, but it is on the way. Absolutely. So gorgeous game. It's coming along really well, and I'll show you guys some more of that pretty soon. If you guys remember, my last videos was a bit too long ago, and you can see they made some very serious progress. And there's the T-29, and we're gonna go see that next. Bye, see you soon. Yeah, BTED's awesome. Yeah, it's meant to be historically authentic. We built all the physics and ballistics ourselves, so both historically authentic and authentic from a realism point of view as well. So here's the T-29, sort of the slick T-29. Gorgeous. We have there are some, if you guys play the games, you probably have seen them in War Thunder, World of Tanks, you know, but there aren't exactly, oh, awesome! What's up? Okay, I was thinking I was gonna go bother Sergeant G on Monday, cause, you know, there's M88s, I'm gonna try to say. But yes, we have some of the prototypes from, can't forget about this one, from the World War II era as well. Oh yes. Yes, the Doom Turtle is here. Tutel. Just massive. Oh, bit of dirt. Yeah, I can probably try to clean that. Give me 2 seconds. It's really light in here and hard to film, so hopefully that makes it a little bit better. Just gorgeous. Hide and seek champion. Hell yeah. So, the tracks were separate, and when we had to put this together for display, I did a whole video on that. They went ahead and they had to go into the archives and find out how to do it the way they did back in the day. Each of these extra tracks is like 7.5 tons or so, and it makes it too wide for transport. So the hide and seek champion is here to stay, and you can see the M88 driver who brought it in. He was like a surgeon. Look how close he got to this support beam here. Just like a surgeon. Super cool. That was one of the coolest things I've ever recorded. As a YouTuber, as a tank fan. Oh yeah. Just unbelievably broad. It's not that tall. Tremendously wide, you know. Still weighs about, you know, it's fairly empty, but it weighs about 80 tons still. And this was quite a project. Quite a project. Yeah, it's a little winch. It's a little winch to help with putting the tracks on. And these were not functional at the time. We didn't use those. We had help from an M88 and a really large forklift, actually. And World War II armor is here with an ammo display, radio display, turret display, and they'll teach you how to do like World War II era vehicle identification and stuff. Awesome history group. They're everywhere on social media sharing the collection. They're awesome. Some more towed guns. This is one of the latest things added. There was a little ceremony here. The Ludendorff Bridge sign from the Battle of Remagen. Where are my Dutch? Here we go. A donation bowl for a new engine. Oh Lord. Isn't that cute? So you can see here, that's how it was. That's how it was. Ludendorff Bridge. And there's a just about, I would say every Sherman, but that's not even close to true. There's a lot more Sherman variants than are here, but this is probably where you can see most of them the best way. Churchill Crocodile is a flamethrower. This is a flamethrower tank. Yep. It's not the only flamethrower tank in this collection. Over here we have a T-34. Absolutely massive. Didn't come along in time for World War II. T-30, 155 millimeter cannon. Just gorgeous, super cool. Yep, and there's the Hellcat you mentioned just a second ago. M18 Hellcat, beautiful condition. Not like the rarest thing in the world, right? But they're always really cool to see. I always appreciate armor. It's like impossible to get used to it here. Sherman, Jumbo, look at this armor thickness. Oh my lord. You can see there, look at the mantlet, isn't that crazy? What variants of Leopard? There's an early Leopard back here that I'll show you. We have a few of the like Cold War nations vehicles. There's some Marine Corps stuff here as well. Do we have Vietnam era APCs? Yes, absolutely. Recovery vehicles. So here we go on the Sherman platform. Here's that A-frame boom that we see coming all the way forward to the armored recovery vehicle we use today. There are some that have like small cranes. We have this A-frame. You can see it there. Yeah, it's a lot of favorites. I have a lot of favorites. Got a Chaffee. These are always great to see. I'm trying not to get too close. I'm sorry that this is filmed in vertical. The YouTube app didn't give me a choice, unfortunately. So I'm sorry if you're seeing this on PC and it's irritating to watch in vertical. I apologize. It straight up wouldn't let me do it in sort of a normal, good format. Cool here. They're M8s, always cool to see. M36. So you can see there's different types of vehicles represented as well. Yep, the MBT-70 and KPZ. What's the other one? XM803 is here as well. I haven't slept a lot, so my brain. Different types of armor as well. So not just tanks, not just what you'd think of like MPCs or MBTs and Shermans, but also you have SPGs, tank destroyers, all sorts of different stuff. The Pershing, very handsome. IS-3M, so this is the modernized, sort of later one. This is not the World War II era IS-3, but they made some upgrades to it and kind of re-released it a little later on, in the 50s sometime. Early Centurion. Crazy to think that the first Centurion came along in the World War II era. This is a Mark V. Hey, Stack, I'm glad you dig it. I appreciate it, November. I just thought I would. It's kind of a slower day today, and I was like, man, I'll just bring my audience with me. YouTube Live is a little clumsy, and it's just, I'm trying to just run through. I'm already we're not even halfway through, honestly. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to easy 8, classic look. Gorgeous condition. SU-100. So there's a really tremendous diversity of vehicles here as well. It's not just American stuff. I like to say it's 100 years of U.S. armor history, but it's not just American vehicles. They do have an ONTOS. Yep. Hello from Greece. That's awesome. Where are y'all from? Where are y'all watching from today? A T-37 Phase 2 prototype. M41 Bulldog. Here's another one of my favorite. This is the T-69. An oscillating turret, kind of like the AMX-13 series. But this is a Cold War American prototype. Yes, there's like 1 or 2 Bundeswehr pieces, yes. You can see here, the front was some steel mix, if I remember correctly, and the rear was aluminum. And you can see the seam here. Chicago, Australia, Finland, Iran, what? That's awesome. All over the place. So one of the reasons, for example, this had almost like a 6-shooter. I think it was 9 shots. And We decided it didn't fit into our doctrine at the time, but as America reconsiders an autoloader for kind of our next armor platforms going forward, you don't have to reinvent the wheel studying it all over again if you have the archive information from the original tests and sort of what experience it provided, what results it provided, the pain points, the benefits from the past, right? So a collection like this is very useful for the Army in order to develop its future vehicles as well. Ah, the Patton Museum. Yeah, some of that stuff was out there. There's a few places where this stuff was held that some of you guys might have seen over the past few decades, and it's all consolidated here, and it's free to visit. It's awesome. Here's the T-43, sort of a prototype that led to the M103. T-54. M46, kind of the first on the Patton line. Cape Town. T-34-85. Such a distinct tank. Great condition. Another recovery variant there. ASU 57. And this one you can just walk right up to. It's in great condition. You can see back here. Isn't this cool? Yeah, buddy. M47. We did a video on this one as well. So some of these might be recognizable if you've seen kind of the tank walk-arounds and stuff from the channel, but they're all here now. Some of y'all were looking for Bundeswehr stuff. Kanonen Jagdpanzer here, and a really early Leopard 1. I kind of think it has like a little face. I can't unsee that it's kind of cute. Daniel, what's up? I hope Tiger Day was awesome. Someday you should make it out here. Where is this again? This is the U.S. Army Armor and Cavalry Collection at Fort Benning, Georgia. And here's the rear. This early Leopard. Early. Handsome Leopard. Handsome 105. Handsome rear. Leopards sound great. I always love hearing a Leopard running. Just a fantastic engine sound. Handsome M60. Cute leopard butts. We go nuts for leopard butts. Ah, here's the Chieftain. It's not a Mark III, this is a Mark I. I couldn't remember, sorry about that. Yeah, so we have a lot of different Cold War variants from both America and our allies and the adversaries at the time as well. French 1390, another awesome example of that oscillating turret. It's super cool just to see everything like all together. You can see them not just relative to themselves, but also to each other. I remember I went out to a museum and they had some staff there that were like social media and support staff. They weren't really like tank people, but because I was there, they were kind of curious and they felt, I guess, comfortable asking me questions, even though they were around the experts all day. And they're like, why are the tanks, you know, different shapes? Like, why do some of them look so different? It's like, well, they all have, even though they might all be tanks, there's different jobs, like different roles as part of like what comes under the umbrella of tank. And so they're built to do different things. And so their shapes represent kind of what they were engineered to do, right? But it's really cool to be able to see kind of these differences up close, even though they might share an era. Absolutely, they connect us to the past, 100%. 100%. Something like this. Cool to see up close. M56. If all the tanks in here had to fight, what would you choose? I will show you. M51. Yeah, not a stupid question at all. Some have heaters too. They don't always work. Here's that MBT 70 that y'all were mentioning earlier. And this one is a good showing example, because it's like, why does this thing sit so low? What's this lowrider about? But it had this like hydropneumatic suspension, kind of similar to what you've seen with like the S tank. It could raise and lower itself in the front and the rear, or all together, in order to take advantage of terrain. And you can see, because you can just walk right up to stuff here, and you can see just how low to the ground it gets. Ass fat, you know? It's like if you stand a deck of cards up on end. Pretty impressive. So there's some old footage that you can find of it raising and lowering itself. And this is in one of the videos that I did with the curator. And this is kind of on the path to the Abrams development, actually. Yet it's slammed, right? You think this is like some Los Angeles car culture, but this is not the Cholomobile. Yes, exactly. It was a collaboration project. Exactly. I did go to Bastogne, 3 years ago, before they redid kind of the inside hangar. Yeah. PT-76. M48, and it's all decked out, looking great. Super cool. Do the staff know me by name? Oh yeah. This feels like my second family. I've been coming out here and helping as a volunteer and kind of just recording footage of what they do since maybe 2018. I came out here a lot in 2020 when they were, after this building was built and they were starting to move the vehicles into the facility. Absolutely, Miko. Absolutely. One of the best collections in the world. And it's really easily accessible. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere and you have to plan a trip anyway. So I figure like the open house dates aren't really even a problem. So here are a few of my favorites. Always cool to see. M551 Sheridan. I finally got to see a running example of one of these, and it's up at the Canadian Tank Museum. Some of them do run, but they don't run them for show. They're just preserved as runners. Another flamethrower vehicle, that's the third one we've seen so far. Third, maybe fourth, actually. M103, so another one of my favorites. Some of you guys are asking questions like, Sophie, what's your favorite? The M103A2, just a badass looking tank. It's fucking big as hell. They, along the development of the M103, it was a bit underpowered. The Army decided they didn't want it, and the Marines was like, hey, wait, give me that. I could do something with it. So it's just impressive, you know what I mean? Like, the tracks come up almost all the way up on me, and yeah, public days, it's the last Friday of every month, and an open house Saturday or weekend about once a quarter. But it's just massive. Like, I'm like over here, this thing is so huge, crazy. So you have to, it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's about an hour and a half drive outside of Atlanta, and it's on an active military base. And you have to plan a trip here anyway. So it actually works really well to have open house days. You do not have to be active duty to volunteer. They have local volunteers who've been volunteering for a long time. Yeah, exactly. Very, very, very tall. And so you look at some of the contemporaries to things like this. The Patton series into the M60. Super cool, massive, amphibious tracked vehicle. It's a bit dark, but you can kind of see some of the layout in there as well. Last of the actual heavy tanks, that's right. Jeep with some ATGMs on the back. Pretty cool. As well as a Jeep with a mounted recoilless rifle. And here's the Ontos that one of you guys was asking about. Another vehicle that the Army decided it didn't want, but that the Marine Corps was like, hey, let's use that. And it's in really cool, very, very visible condition. And I was telling the story yesterday when I was on Instagram Live that when I went to the Museum of the American GI, which is in College Station, Texas, they have a lot of really gorgeously restored running Allied vehicles in their collection. And they have one of these, and it runs. My mom. They had a Vietnam veteran in attendance at the. He had been a crew member on an Ontos back in Vietnam when he actually did use these. And he hadn't seen it since he had served. and they let him ride around on it. It was really cool. Yeah, these had flechette rounds as well. These were very, very mobile, but you had to be really careful with where you were when the guns were firing. The veteran that I spoke with shared that he had another young man not on his crew had died because he was too close to the guns when they fired. A technical, yeah. So here's one of my favorites. This is probably one of my favorite vehicles in the collection. And one of you guys asked, like, okay, if you had to drive one of these in combat, what would it be? So my favorite vehicles are actually are the armored recovered vehicles. So this is, if you guys have ever seen the M88, which is what the Army currently uses, it was built originally on a platform that was a combination of the M60 and M48. They introduced it, I think, in the 50s, maybe around early, I think it was dropped into service around 1961, if I remember the dates, which I might not because I didn't sleep. And this was an armored recovery vehicle on the M103 platform. So it's on a heavy tank platform. So this is a heavy recovery vehicle. And I'm obsessed with these, and I have never seen one anywhere else. And a couple of times, some past crewmen of these have reached out and shared some pictures and stuff. But it's just massive. Just massive. And so instead of the A-frame that you've seen on our recovery vehicles kind of since World War II, this one does have a really large pivoting crane. Just stunning. Massive. Super cool. Look at the size of this. Look at the size of the hook. Golly boy. Just stunning. Like, and again, like, the size, like, Sophie for scale, but like I said, I'm 5'10", maybe 6 foot in the boots, but like the tracks come up to my shoulders almost, you know, just wicked cool. And I can fit like I can kind of just plop myself right in here. Actually, I'll get a little greasy, but it's worth it. This is my favorite. I would love to, if my back wasn't fucked up, if I had a chance to do over and serve, I think a recovery crew would be super cool. Like, I'm built like a palm tree and I have a bad back, so the real work that these things do with the crew that do the work is something I can't do anymore, you know, if I ever could have. But I think it would be so cool to be on a recovery crew. And one of my friends here that I got to meet last year, they came down and they were helping the team here with moving a frozen up Sherman. And his name's Sergeant G, and he has probably the longest record, like, in recovery of anybody that I've met. And he's on recovery under combat. He's got a ton of stories, and I was hoping to get out there and talk to him maybe tomorrow. He's just got a ton of experience, and he shares a lot of recovery stories, and he knows a lot. And I wanted to get in touch with some of the like the public affairs office and do some proper interviews with them, because I just love the recovery stuff. I just think it's cool, and it doesn't really get shared. Like, there's all sorts of tank games, tank movies, tank books, but the recovery process is a vital one. These things do the jobs that without them the tanks couldn't tank, and nobody really gets to hear about it. So they're kind of unsung heroes, really. And I love the recovery vehicles. So think of it like a tow truck, right? But this was built on the M103 heavy tank platform, and it's just massive. I can't think of another place to find one of these. We did use these in Vietnam. And another familiar face for some of you guys, the M60A2. It's known as the Starship. I've had people say it wasn't called the Starship back then. I've had people say it was called the Starship back then. It is an amazing collection. Make it go right to come out and see it. Got this bag. This weird thing, I always forget what this is. Let's say this is M706. Yes, they do. A lot of times you'll see a 50 cal up top. Yes, the Shillelagh missile. That's right. That's right. Along with oh man, I can't. My brain. The lowrider back there. We got the XM803. So after the MBT-70, we have this. They do have modern ones. We're almost there. We're getting through to the end of the Cold War and some of the more modern prototypes, and we are almost to the modern section. I tried to speed run this, and it's been 45 minutes. Honest to God, I'm sorry. combat engineer. Another role of the armored vehicle is not forgotten here. Yep, the Sep V4, about as modern as you can get. That's a great way to put it. The Chieftain did a video on this one, the Twister. Super, super cool. XM808. You can see it's got this joint here. So it's like this two-part articulated wheeled armored vehicle. He does a great video on it. Yeah, it looks like some Batman shit. So mobile that it gets into areas that make it difficult to recover. Like literally too good at its job. Go check out his video on it. He's come by here a few times and done some content. Hopefully he can come by again soon. Always does a great job. Got a ferret here. And a fox. So it's cool to just to see different families of armored vehicles represented. It's not just US things, it's not just tanks. They have the all the really rare German World War II stuff, if that's what you're into. They have the prototype, really rare stuff, if that's what you're into. Modern stuff that you're not going to be able to see on display in very many places. Ah, the Stridswagen 103C. Another thing that's kind of hard to come across here in the US. This is an MBT. This is a main battle tank, like a Leopard. It did have an offensive doctrine planned for it as well. It's not just to be used in the defense. Super cool. I'm planning another trip to Arsenal this year. I'll let you guys know when we figure that out. And again, it's not just vehicles here either. It's an example of a tow missile launcher. I said speedrun and it's been almost an hour. Like, honestly, like I'm going I'm going really fast and I'm not talking about a lot of stuff. If you really like tanks, you can be here all day, honestly. M48A5, kind of the last of the Pattons. M60A3. This was actually the model of my "Don't tread, I'll tread on you" t-shirt. This is the tank that was the model for it. So the jerry cans on the side actually provided more protection besides the extra fuel. That's obviously helpful. It actually protected the valuable part of the vehicle where the people are in from, say, like heat rounds. No, there's no rule. Some of them have division badges, some of them don't. Some of them they put on, some of them don't. It kind of just varies. There's no rules. Yep, even a French one. Even a French one. Not all the guns are disabled. The RDM2. Is it cute? I can't unsee that. It has like a little face. Yes, some of them are. Absolutely. There are captured German vehicles. They're captured in combat. American ones that did see combat as well. So the provenance for the vehicles are largely very well documented here. All right, so the Pilot Vehicle 1, XM1. One of the first Abram tanks around. And I got to meet General Abrams, the son of Creighton Abrams, the namesake of the Abrams tank, and he had driven this way back in the day. And we got a selfie so I had my selfie with an Abrams in front of an Abrams. That was cool. He's a really cool guy, actually. Early Bradley. This is one of the ones that you might remember from one of my videos, and it shows some of the armaments out front here. Doof, 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 doof. And the famous tow missile up in the launcher. So the Bradley is a vehicle that you're not going to see in too many museums. And it's some guns up there. Seated next to its contemporaries, that early Abrams, and the BMP-1. Chuck Yeager's grandson, that's cool. Did he have very many stories about the guy? And the BTR-60. This one was freshened up in the restoration shop in the last couple of years as well. And this one, which is in the last video that I posted. The BMP-2. Yep, that's a Cobra. Yep. Not just tanks in here, not just ground vehicles here. That's right. Very nice cosmetic restoration on this one. Cobra gunship. Super fucking cool. Thinspo helicopter. One of the employees here, he's the lead in the restoration shop and lead mechanic that you guys saw in that last video. He was actually a Cobra pilot. So I want to get him on a video talking about that and talking about the Kiowa that he flew as well over here. Where am I visiting today? This is the National Armor and Cavalry Collection on Fort Benning in Georgia. This is the training support facility on base that provides a reference to the research teams for future vehicles, as well as an educational perspective for all the new soldiers and tankers that come through. Yep, gorgeous. Gorgeous piece of history here. As well as another beastie you saw. You can see where I have all the like infinite content here, you know what I mean? Another early Abrams. F557. This one's open in the back. Is it available? Yes. They have visitation days, open house dates 4 times a quarter. This is one of the open house weekends. This is the first one. And they're also open on the last Friday of every month. So you can see back here, this like setup for command. So it's not just the vehicles plopped down. You get to see them set up for use. What's up? What's going on? How you doing? Handsome Abrams. You may recognize this one from some of the googly eye skits. I'm always out here fooling. They do important work here, and I'm privileged to be able to come and walk around. I can spend a lot of time here. Yeah, me too. Me too. So this is the M3A2. This is more like what we are using now compared to that old Bradley on the other side. I have not put googly eyes on the V4, not yet. I plan to. I didn't bring my googly eyes this trip, but I will. Is it strange that they have a BMP-2? No, not at all. You know, a lot of this is a teaching facility, and the BMP-2 is still on the battlefield today. You know, so. Early Challenger 1. This one has a bit of a gangster lean. There's something up with the suspension, but looks great. I remember when they brought this in. Here's your Abrams TTB for somebody who's looking forward to that earlier in the video. Pretty cool. It's, you know, for as old as it was, a fairly advanced concept. This is back from the 80s with a unmanned turret. You can come and see it. One side has bad reception. Oh, I believe it. Is that right, Monaco? That's so cool. How is it going with Steel Aces? It's awesome. We've had a great weekend of people coming and seeing it, playing it. People are impressed, but they want to see, you know, this is a test build, and at the end of the day, the rubber meets the road when it's PvP, when the servers are live, when you're up against people, you know, so people want to see some more. We've had tons of questions about, you know, when they can play and if they can download it. People want to buy it. It's not out yet, but of course, people are interested. I think this always looked kind of like samurai armor. I think this is cool. M60A1. This is Buster. So this is somebody was asking for vehicles with like combat provenance. This is one of them. Yes, the MBT-70 and the XM803 are here. I passed those earlier on in the video. This is actually back towards the entrance. So after almost an hour of me like speed running this place, it's almost to the end. T-72M1. Another example of vehicles that are still on the battlefield. So once again, this is like a training facility for next generation of soldiers, next generation of tankers, next generation of scouts, and also a facility that serves as a research. Man, my English today. I say that as though I know any other languages, and I do not. My brain is bad. A resource for the future Abrams, future Bradley, future vehicle teams in the Army. Come and study. The CATTB is not here. I'm kind of trying to dig that one up myself if it is still around. It should be. Another example of this no longer kind of fit into the Army's doctrine, but it's here. Striker MGS. It has its fans. It has its detractors. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's graceful, incredibly graceful, you know, for an armored vehicle. I hang around with like Stogs and stuff, so watching this thing run was like a fucking ballerina, man. One of the first ones off the assembly line as well. Yeah, the Bradley sure proved its mettle on the battlefield, didn't it? So this is the latest armor vehicle, the latest armored platform that the U.S. Army has added is the M10 Booker. This was BAE's competitive bid for that project, for the MPF project, the XM1302. So this one had some interesting innovations, but we ended up deciding to go with GDLS's entry, and now we have the M10 Booker. You can see, opened up, you can see the power pack in the back. And finally, what you guys have been waiting for since the beginning of the video, the SEP V4. This was the latest variant of the Abrams under development, and the Army decided to pivot from that and build something separate instead. And so the SEP V4 program has ended, and a lot of those prototypes, as far as I heard, were converted. But the M1E3 is now the current project. And you can see it here. And I think it's really, it's kind of poignant to have it close to one of the first armored platforms that American tankers used in the Mark V Star. So you can see, you know, it's 100 years of armored history seated right here next to each other. How far we have come, haven't we? How far we've come. From the rhomboid designs and the first sort of armored and mechanized battle over 100 years ago to these engineering models. Stunning, really. Just a marvel of engineering. The Abrams is really impressive. I was never, I like Cold War stuff. I like World War II vehicles the most, you know? And I thought, sort of the modern MBTs, they all kind of look the same to me, you know? They're a little too young for me. But when I got to see the Abrams rolling around and stuff out here, it's impossible not to be impressed. It's impossible not to be impressed. So, you can see here, Mark V Star next to it, and the place is huge. It's 100,000 square feet of armored history, spanning over 100 years. U.S. history, our allies, our adversaries, our instruments, and other vehicles and machines that accompanied our cavalry, our scouts, our mounted warriors. I haven't seen that one yet. Yes, it is. M728. Good eye, Panzerpaw. Good eye. Another great channel if you guys hadn't seen his yet. A tanker. People lived and died in these, absolutely. The Mark V Star is a memorial. 2 crew members died in that tank. 2 crew members died. So when you come here, remember that a lot of these have a story. A lot of these have combat histories. They have provenance that involved life and death and the striving of men that came before me or greater than me, you know. So it's a great privilege to come here and to see them and to learn from them and to learn from those who keep the history alive. So once again, I appreciate you guys coming along with me for my little live view. It's been fun. I tried to go as fast as I could, and it's already been an hour, but I appreciate you guys' time, and I'm looking forward to the next videos. I'm going to try to do there's an M4A1 restoration that some of the visiting armor lieutenants who are here on base for their courses are working on together in the restoration shop with Bob, if you guys remember him from the BMP2 video. And I want to get a perspective of him as an armory cav pilot on some of the helicopters that are here as well. Those are the next kind of planned things I'm trying to get. And I'm really hoping that some more of you guys have seen this video and know that you can come here and see one of the best armor collections, not just in the US, but also in the world. You know, you got, like I said, 100,000 square feet and 100 years of history. This is one of the best places to see some of your favorites and some things that you haven't seen yet. So I really appreciate your guys' patience and your questions. If you liked this, I don't know, you guys know what to do, subscribe and like and whatever, but hopefully you feel inspired to come see it for yourself. There are 4 open house dates, as well as visitation is available on the last Friday of every month through October. So if you can plan, foreign visitors are welcome. You can bring your passport and you can actually apply for a pass on base online ahead of time if you want. So I'm gonna do a little video. It's like gonna be like a guide on how to come down here. It's not really like a tour like today, but it's like, hey, if you guys wanna come see, here's what this place is about and here's the best way to access it. If you guys have never been on base or done anything like that before, it's super simple, but I thought I'd include a little bit of a guide as well as the relevant links. This is at Fort Benning in Georgia, home of the Armor and Cav. Now we do all the training for armor officers and stuff like that, as well as the recovery courses, which I would love to see. They flip in Abrams, you know, they teach the recovery crews here too, which is super cool. So it's not that much of a pain. I don't think it's just a little bit in the middle of nowhere. So I'll include like kind of travel blog style Airbnb and stuff like that, and what airports are best and all, you know, little things like that. So it's not going to be like a tank video, but it's actually the questions I get most often is like, how do I visit, and kind of like, what should I plan for? You know what I mean? So anyway, it is also Airborne School too, and the Ranger School is here. So there's all sorts. There's like 60 courses. Master Gunner School for Bradley's, Master Gunner School for Abrams is here. There's a good 60 courses they teach here. So it's a great privilege to be able to come down. I've done a little bit of stuff like as kind of just volunteer media, coming and seeing it and filming it. So I have a ton of footage that I'm trying to catch up on, and I'll be bringing that here too. So if you guys enjoyed it, you guys understand the whole like and comment and subscribe. If you have any questions or any corrections to anything that I said, feel free to throw that in the comments. And I will see you guys pretty soon. I'm gonna go back to the Steel Aces booth. We're demonstrating our game back there. We're gonna be working on some more sort of show and tells for that with the lead devs as well. So thanks to Steel Aces for sponsoring the trip. As always, it's a great team, and it's been really fun to get in there with them as they build their game. And thank you again to the National Armor and Cavalry Collection for the ability to come down here, make content, hang out. These are my friends. This is like my museum home, and it's really a treat. So thank you guys for supporting the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time, maybe at Militrax. Ahead of time, I'll be able to do a little live video of Overloon War Museum when I'm down there before the event. So I'll see you guys at Militrax, and I will see you guys online on Twitch this next weekend, playing some more games, maybe Roadcraft or some more Panzerkampf. And I'll see you then. So take care, everyone. I really appreciate you guys and your viewership. We're bringing the channel back out of heat death here, and I appreciate all y'all's patience and your support, and I will see you next time. Take care.